deal with, clarify, stuff like that. So welcome, my name is Kuro. I believe I know some people here. I'm sure some of you know me as well. And we'll be discussing living again. I'm putting my slides up. My slides usually serve as a guide, or our slides rather, usually serve as a guide, and they don't contain everything we're talking about. As you can see, we're live streaming it. Well, doesn't mean you can check it online, but we'll just save it somewhere. So if there's somebody you really wanted to attend and the person isn't here yet, can you take the next 1 minute to go and drag them into this room? There's somebody you think needs to hear this. Maybe you yourself were saying, I'm not sure they're going to have it, or let me not go and invite somebody, then the person will come and say, why did you invite me here? But now you know we're having the session. Living again is up in your face, in front of the system. We are ready to go. But can you do that one quick thing? The person you thought that should be here. Now, not only have you registered, you also have the login details. You have the link, you have the meeting ID and the password, which means it's going to be very easy to just forward it to the person and say, hey, Benga, Tunde, Chinedu, Onye, get in here now, so that you don't miss this. It's the challenge most times that people think free doesn't add value. I'm sure you know by now that that's not the case. So bring somebody in here. You know what? I'll give you 1 minute to do that. Let's say the numbers in the session, in the participants list, go up a little bit. Tell somebody to join now, so you don't miss anything. Trust me, we're good to go. The intention was to run this session from 4 p.m. to 5:30. We will not go 1 minute above 5:30. So this is not a time-wasting gimmick. It's a part of the session that people get the best value from it. So take the next 2 minutes. Get someone else to join us who is not here. Don't forget registration. Just send them the link and say, you know what? I found something of value. I think you should benefit from it as well. And get them to come in quickly. It doesn't have to be somebody who's going through a tough patch. It could be somebody doing very well, but trying to pivot. Somebody wondering, can things be better? Maybe somebody who's just wondering, what's the economy of the country like? And I have 2 people who are from another country here, so it's not a Nigerian thing. Everybody in the world is experiencing inflation and stuff like that. I see somebody entering the waiting room. It could be someone who registered before or someone you called. So I guess it's working. I need to find 1 or 2 people who join this session. What we want to do really is make more people achieve the best possible in life. I have a strong feeling. I'll show you when we come to mindsets. I have a strong feeling that if more people do well, I will do well. Call me crazy. I love that. But more people, I really need more people to understand that if more people do well, I will do well. We are 22 people in the room. We've had 4 people come in and step out because of network issues. I would like to get more people to come in. I know you got emails if you registered, or you got the link directly off someone. At this point, we've started, it doesn't matter. Closing time will still be 5:30. We're good to go. But once I start, the train has begun to move. We won't be taking much in terms of things that could distract me. My colleagues will keep admitting people to the room, but I want to see 1 more person join us. And let me just shoot. Living again. What does it first of all portray? Does it portray that you stop living? Many people are in the world, but not of the world. Many people are controlled by what goes on around us. So many things to talk about. But I'm in the side, I'm like a fly on the wall for 30 seconds, 30 more seconds. And then I'll start flipping those slides and your notes will start filling up quickly. My colleagues stay in the chat room or in the waiting room rather, and let people in as they come. Thank you. Okay, good evening, everybody. Happy Workers' Day. My name is Kuro. I think it's time you saw my face, makeup and all. So let's do this. It's time you saw my face, makeup and all. Why don't you just do that now? Can you see my face? Can anybody confirm that you can see my face? I'm trying to see my face. Can anyone see my face?
Yes, you can see your face.
You can see my face.
Yeah.
I'm also
Bob.
Good evening, you can see your face. Good evening.
Good evening to you too.
Oga Kuro, how you dey?
I'm fine. Now I know where that is coming from. See, after this session, see me in my office or call me on the phone and let's talk. Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Kuro. Bekere, hi, good evening. I see you. Tonya, I see you too. Ponsa, hi, it's been a while. Cash, Binkwe, just tell me again once you can see my slides. I want to jump straight into it. I'm so excited, as in I've been preparing for a while to do this. It was even more interesting when it was someone else who said, let's talk about this. So I'm really geared up. Please do me a favor, keep your microphones muted, except you want to say something to us. I most likely will just speak through the session and then thereafter ask you to come in and give your own interesting perceptions or opinion. All right. So we'll be talking today about living again. Not to say you are not living right now, but I'm sure you know that the world we live in today is not the same as the world we used to live in. So what are we going to share with you today? We'll talk about you living in today's world, the issues people deal with, and narrow down to something we also found out. So we did a simple poll before this session to ask people something. Maybe some of you here didn't get the poll. What is the biggest challenge you have today? We asked that question before now. We have an answer or we have a most recurring response, but I would ask you again to do the same thing. So go to the chat section and just drop there, what is the most challenging thing you are dealing with today? Which aspect of your life is expressing or experiencing challenges, as the case may be? Just go to the chat section and drop your own opinion. I'll pick them up as we go along. We already have a poll. It already gave us an answer, but hey, maybe there's more and we'd like to hear from you. All right? So in the waiting room, people will come in. I will start by showing you a very short video. I represent a firm. I like people to know about the firm. So I will pause and show you a short video about a firm I want you to watch, and thereafter I'll come and begin to speak. First of all, confirm that you can hear the sound. Let me pick someone to help me confirm. Banji, if you can hear the sound, just say yes, I can hear.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Purple Training and Consulting is...
Banji, did you hear the sound?
Loud and clear.
Oh, beautiful. So I'll go back to the beginning. I'll keep my mouth shut. If you just joined us and you didn't hear the earlier instruction, the instruction was, it's extremely important. Get a jotter and a pen so you can write when we say things. The great faintest scribble, we write in a minute and a half.
Purple Training and Consulting is the learning and development arm of Purple Plethora Concepts Limited. We provide services in training by improving skills of employees and management, consulting by providing unique and bespoke solutions to identify problems, recruitment by identifying, recruiting, and onboarding best fit employees, business development by engaging businesses in the ideas, initiatives, and activities aimed at making businesses better, from startups to existing businesses seeking strategies for growth or restructuring. The 4 guiding principles for our engagement with clients are providing value and applying innovation while displaying empathy and resilience. Our mission is to be a leading provider of exceptional services in appearance and content into clients across the globe. We also have a large faculty of trainers and consultants with several years of experience providing top-notch value. You can visit our website at www.purpleplethora.com.ng to view our programs and services, receive quotes, and contact us. You can also chat with us directly on WhatsApp by typing bit.ly/chatpurple on your browser, or send us emails. We look forward to working with you.
So that's essentially the firm I represent. And as I jump into the session, I will remind you of 2 things. The first one is get a jotter and a pen. Even I have a jotter and 2 pens in front of me. So get one, put it by your side. Secondly, you can still reach out to that person who you think could benefit from this, who you think could improve their current position, what they are doing, where they are, by just sending them the link and say, join this session now. And I believe that you can help with doing that. Get coming, all right? So I would remind you again why I said get a pen and a jotter. There's a quote I'm very familiar with, and I like to talk about it a lot. The faintest or the weakest ink, the smallest thing you write down, is greater than your sharpest memory. By the time life hits you and regular things come back to the fore, you would forget stuff. And I wrote stuff down many years ago. For instance, when I was leaving secondary school, we filled a slum book, and they asked us to fill the slum book and write what our hobbies were. Let me interest you. I wrote there that my hobbies were talking, traveling, and meeting people. Talking, traveling, and meeting people. I know how long ago it was, because reunion we're having this weekend is our 30th. It's the 31st year. So it's been 3 decades ago since I wrote I like talking, traveling, and meeting people. Now I earn a living from talking, traveling, and meeting people. But I wrote it down then and carry it along for some time. So you should write something down today. Don't expect that when we're done, we'll send you material. This is not that kind of session. You know why? Even the material can make no sense to you except you were here. Trust me, by the time we go through it, you'll notice. So write something down. It's of extreme importance. All right. So moving on, my story. I was born at Island Maternity on Lagos Island. Yes, that's me when I was a kid. And I went to primary school in a local primary school, Lagos Island Local Government Primary School. I ended up in Kano for my secondary school. At first, I didn't like the idea, leaving Lagos and going all the way to Kano in Nigeria. Kano is in the north, by the way. I didn't like the idea at first, so I was really upset with my dad. He only escorted me to Kano for the first time when I resumed, and I never got a visit anymore. I mean, for the rest of my time in Kano, that was just me by myself and all of that. But I finished in Kano and then ended up in the University of Ibadan, premier university in Nigeria. And I got into university with the intention of just getting out of university with good grades. I got lucky. I asked before I got into university, do I need to read a particular course to be a particular thing in life? I also wanted to know what kind of grades would give me a chance in life generally. And I was told a couple of things. The first one is the course you study may not determine what you become later. That was good because knowledge helps. That reminds me of the quote. It's actually a verse, but I'll call it a quote. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Some people just don't know. I know somebody who got admission into university in Nigeria for 3 years and kept saying, I will not resume because they didn't give the person the course they wanted. I got lucky. I had that knowledge beforehand. So I went to school and studied geography. I only did something interesting. I wanted to know how they calculate grades in university. And they told me. I wanted to know what it took to get a first class, second class, upper, second class, lower. They told me. So I made up my mind that I wanted to have a second class uppers division. I wasn't keen on getting a first class. First class to me meant you won't read. You won't play. You just be reading every day. So I got into university and I set a goal saying I want a second class upper in 4 sessions. You couldn't say 4 years then because, I mean, even till now in public schools, strike would strike you out. Anyways, I got out of university. Yes, that was a fantastic look back then. So stop looking at me funny. Everybody has their past. But you see those pants, boot cuts. Please mute if you're not speaking to the rest of us, or else we will hear what you are saying. And you probably don't want that. The pants, the shoes, the top, and that portmanteau belonged to my dad. And I took them to school specifically to take this photograph so that sometime in the future, I could say this was me in the past. You can tell that the Lord has been good. Thereafter, I got into banking. I resumed in Guaranty Trust Bank, my first career. I didn't look for a job. So I'm a privileged person, I confess. God intervened. I didn't have to look for a job after university. I got into banking and I set a goal again. I want to be a full manager in 10 years. I didn't tell anybody about these 2 goals, by the way. I just wrote it down, scrunched it up, threw it away, and I kept it in my mind where I knew was the best storehouse for whatever I was doing. And I continued to pursue it until when university was over, I had a second class upper and I was done in 4 sessions. This reminds me of the fact that setting goals can propel you to do great things in life. And I want you to remember that. So we got into the bank, spent 10 years, became a full manager, like I set a goal to be. And then I ended up staying in banking for another 6 years. One day I told my boss, I'm not doing this anymore. It's time to leave. And I left. I remember clearly that just before I spoke to my boss, something kept pinching me to walk around in circles and say to myself, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And this is not a sermon. This is not church service. This is just me telling you where I draw influence from. Everybody should have some source where you draw influence from. So my story, I did banking for a couple of years. Here I am today. I am a training and business development consultant. I do training in, 6, 7 African countries. I've had to train people in Canada before, even though it was virtual. And I've trained several organizations in Nigeria. Am I where I want to be yet? No, I'm not. In fact, this session is what will propel me to setting my next 5-year goal, which all of us should do. But that's essentially who I am. Today, I try to help people become better. All right? And I'm going to start with a story. Well, I've told you my own story. Let's talk about the story of life generally. Okay? The story of life generally. Now, in the beginning, like I heard someone say from South Africa some time ago, in the beginning, there were 2 people. So I won't go the route of religion, but I will speak from a religious standpoint. The 2 major religions in Nigeria today, and most of Africa, if you do the statistics, agree to one thing. The first man and woman were Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve in Christianity, Adamu and Hawa in Islam. And if we both I've subscribed to one of those religions. If we both agree to that simple beginning or history of mankind, then it helps me to build on my theories about life. The theory is simple. I've created 3 theories out of this Adam and Eve situation. And this is essentially what it is. First of all, anybody who's trying to get in and network keeps throwing you out, just keep at it. My colleagues will keep letting you in, no matter how long it takes. So this is the theory, or these are the theories I came up with. Now, if Adam and Eve were the first man and woman, and they were in a garden called Eden, and at some point something happened and they were chased out of the garden, then my first theory is that they came out of the Garden of Eden with nothing. They left the garden with nothing. Second theory, when they came into the world, just follow me for the rest of this afternoon, just follow my line of thought, all right? They came into the world with nothing, number 1. Number 2, when they came into the world outside the garden, everything was natural. Nothing was man-made. Well, they were the first man and woman anyway. And my third theory is this: everything that has been created since then, from the device you are using to listen to me, to your TV, the clothes you wear, our houses, roads, every single thing that is not natural and is man-made was created from the mind of a man or woman. Those 3 theories hold true until someone comes to show me how a supreme deity came to the world one day and said, oh, mankind now needs a plane. Let us create a plane. And a plane arrived from somewhere. Everything, pen, jotter, everything you can imagine, so long as it's not natural, was made from the mind of a man or a woman, like you. My question is, why is it not you? Why are you not the one doing what they did? I've wondered in the past. The people who went into the woods, into the bush, as we call it in Africa, and identified one plant as edible and the other one as poisonous, what inspired them to do so? Whatever vegetable you eat, somebody must have found it, tried it out, and concluded it was good for food. Could that person be you or me? Bottom line is, your mind is your most powerful resource. The most powerful resource anybody has in the world today is your mind. And so long as you are in this session with me, you have a mind. In fact, you have a mind enough to comprehend what I'm saying. Some people have minds that are not put to full use. Some people have minds that are distorted in the way they see the world. But everybody's mind represents what is your most powerful resource. And your mind, very quickly, is not an organ in your body. This is also very important. Your mind is not an organ in your body. Your mind is not like your heart or your brain or your liver or your lungs, even though your mind sits in the area where your brain is. So let me go back or backtrack and give you a little bit of biology. Every human being is created first from a single cell. And ironically, we're all adults here, so I can speak freely. The largest cells that have anything to do with human creation are the sperm and the woman's egg. They come together and they form you. So all of us started from one cell, the smallest single unit of life. Now, cells come together and then they form tissue. Tissue come together, they form organs like your brain, your lungs, your liver, your stomach. Your ear is an organ. Your eyes are organs. Those organs then work together to form a system. They don't come together, they work together to form a system. Now, all of this does not take into account what your mind is or where your mind is. Your mind is actually a space in your brain where 6 different faculties work together. And when these faculties begin to speak to one another, then your mind is now active. There's your memory. Your memory is records or represents records of things that has happened to you in the past. And the mind's memory is probably bigger than many computers in the world. It is not an organ. An organ in your mind is responsible for handling memory, both short-term and long-term memory. They are your feelings or your emotions kept somewhere in your mind called the amygdala. Let me put that in the chat section. That one I like talking about a lot. The amygdala is where your feelings sit in your mind. All the feelings you can think of, hatred, love, anger, somewhere there, feelings. There's your imagination, is also a faculty of your mind. There's your reasoning or logical thinking. 2 + 2 = 4. If I go out in the rain, I will get wet. Reasoning is also a faculty. Willpower is one that is also there and important, and essentially perception and intuition. Long story short, your mind is active when these faculties start speaking to one another. And this is how it happens in real life. Somebody can blindfold you today and put a pint of salt on your tongue. How do you know it is salt? So one of your 5 sense organs, sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing, in this case, taste, which is your tongue, carries this message to your brain, right, from your tongue. When it gets to your brain, the memory bank of your brain springs into life and tells the reasoning part of your brain. They are both part of your mind, by the way. This thing is salt because I've experienced it in the past. And then reasoning communicates to your brain and you say it is salt. You agree it is salt. So what happens in your mind is these 6 different faculties, they are talking to one another whenever something comes into your brain space or the area where they exist. And everybody perceives their world that way. Okay? I'll write a book about this soon, so watch out for my book. I hope I get it done in the next 2 or 3 months. Anyways, back to you. Now, your mind is not formed based on how you are born alone. Most people ask that question. Is it a nature or nurture issue? How did my mind become formed? First, there are genes, what your parents have, that forms who you are. So people's minds, people's brains, those organs that affect those things, are created from whatever your parents put together. Some people have stronger memories than some people, and it's not because of training, it's natural to them. Some people go to one place once and they can recreate the journey there 10 times over. Some of us get lost. After the first time we go somewhere, we have to use Google Maps. All right? But there's also nurture. The environment you live in, people you go along with every day, forms how you see things. And then over time, what happens is you create a mindset. You as a person, in your mind, have a way that you see the world, a manner in which you perceive the world, and the way you see things. And your mindset, to a large extent, which is essentially the established set of attitudes held by someone, established to a large extent, even though you can still change them over time, is a function of how you were born and people you've engaged with over time in life. And there are several mindsets. Your mindset, to a large extent, determines how you see things, how you respond to things. My question to you at this point is to ask you one question. What is your mindset? And there are several mindsets. I've researched and found 11 different mindsets. But I won't talk about all of them today. I want you to place yourself somewhere and say, this is most likely my mindset. And it's important to do that. So what kind of mindsets exist in the world? And how do they shape how you see things? I will also tell you how you see things determines to a large extent the results you get in life. So I'll pick one or two. The first one that comes to mind, which is easy, is the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. So I'm benchmarking one mindset against the next, two different ones. Fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. It's possible to have three different mindsets operating in your mind. So don't get fixated on is one or the other. But let's benchmark one against the other. What does the fixed mindset kind of person say? What does the growth mindset kind of person say? What differentiates one from the other? Now, the person with the fixed mindset believes a lot of things, including things about me are fixed. If I know it, I know it. If I don't know it, I don't know it. All right. The person with the growth mindset believes even if I cannot do it now, I can learn it and be good at it. The fixed mindset person believes my talents and abilities are fixed. I'm either good at, or I know this thing, or I don't know it. Simply put. The person with the growth mindset believes the exact opposite. They don't believe talent and intelligence are static. They think you can grow and become better at it. Just a few points about each of them. There's the scarcity versus the abundance mindset. The person who has a scarcity mindset believes that everything in life is a zero-sum game, which means if you get, I lose. If you take, it's no longer available to me. So if you make money, then there's not enough money in the world to come to me. Like they believe the world has maybe $25 trillion as the maximum amount of money available. And every time Tunde makes money, I can't make. The abundance mindset person believes an adage we hear a lot, that the sky is big enough for all of us to fly in. The person with the abundance mindset does not think when you get, I don't get. In fact, they believe that the more of us get, the better it is. Which one is your mindset, scarcity or abundance? The person with a scarcity mindset would probably prevent people around them from aspiring or getting to where they plan to get to compared to the abundance mindset person. Just a few for us to chew on. There's also another consideration or another two sets of mindsets I want to share. There's the fear mindset and the productive mindset. So someone with the fear mindset is afraid to launch out, do things on their own. They consider a lot. What if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't work out the way I planned out? What if I fail? Very important. What if I fail? And because of those thoughts, there are many things they don't do. They don't even start out. See, the productive mindset person believes that if I put 2, 3, 4 things in place and I put in the effort that is important and I get ABC done, it will lead me here. To be productive means you can do something first and then you can do it to produce a result. So the person who has a fear mindset doesn't start most times. Now, the productive mindset person thinks, whether I start or I don't start, I will remain where I am. Why don't I start? Why don't I ask? Why don't I apply? I spoke to a friend of mine yesterday, and the person was telling me about how I have a couple of job offers. The idea is, which one do I pick? I'm telling myself, and I told the person, people think there are no jobs, and this was the response I got. There are jobs. People just don't apply. It hit me. It hit me so hard, I decided I was going to say it today. I'm asking you this question real quick. Which mindset do you carry around? Which one guides what you do? It's very important for you to answer that question to yourself. And this is the reason why your mindset is key. You see, your mind, I've explained the way it works, or rather, I've explained what forms it. But this is the way your mind works. When things come into your mind, you think and you feel. To think is to logically consider something. To think is to logically consider something, to ask questions like I said before, if I go out in the rain, I will get drenched. All right? If I do this, it will lead to this. There's the feeling part, which is a part of us as well. There is a new concept, or not new, but a concept in the world that's becoming popular that talks about feelings, called emotional intelligence. Your feelings are not always correct. In fact, many times, your feelings are not correct. First of all, your feelings are subjective, which means it is not an objective thing. Bad in themselves. And my opinion, which most of us also believe in control their feelings more and think when a feeling comes up, essentially. Did you know? Please, someone confirm to me that you can hear me clearly. First, I want to see thumbs up. Just put an electronic thumb up to confirm that you can hear me clearly. If I see thumbs up, electronic thumbs, I'd say, yes, you can hear me clearly and I can continue. I see 2 thumbs. Fantastic. 2 thumbs are up. 5 thumbs. Oh, great. So I can go on. So you see, you think and you feel. Did you know that your attitude is actually the way you think and feel about things? Your attitude towards something is actually the way you think and feel about something or someone. You can look it up after this session. So your attitude towards the work you do, your attitude towards your friends, your attitude towards money, your attitude towards rest, sleep, enjoyment, or whatever else comes to mind, is a function of how your mind operates and the kind of mindset you have. And the more important part is this: your thinking and feeling determines your doing. Everything you say and do is a function of how you think and feel. Now, get this clear. We don't all think and feel the same way. It's not wrong in itself. You just have to be clear about how you think and feel. So the way you think and the way you feel determines what you say and do. And what you say and do determines the results you get in life. So sometimes if you just check where you are and trace it to the way you think and feel about things, you would have many answers to the questions: why am I here now? Why am I in this space or place right now? It's important to also note that there are some things in life you have control over, and some things you don't have control over. That's always been very important to me. And the idea is to think this way: if I have control over it, I need to do something about it. If I don't have control over it, who does? So I can ask the person. There's something called a locus of control that shows the things you have control over. So you control, or you have control over your own thoughts. They say, watch your thoughts, they become your, you know that, I'm sure many of us know that quote. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they ultimately will become your character. Then your character becomes your destiny. It starts from the way you think. You are responsible for and you have control over your thoughts, over the things you do. You can't say, he said something to me, I got angry and I slapped him, and blame the person for it. No, you chose to slap the person in return for words they spoke to you. You are always responsible for what you say and do. And your decisions as well. You have control over those ones. Some things you don't have control over, right? But you can influence them, which means you can play a role in what happens eventually. Like other people's actions, you can't control them. Other people's choices, you can't control them. And then there are some things you have no control over, like the economy or traffic or the weather. Now, when you have control over things, you are supposed to do something about it. Yes, if you don't have control over it, it also means to me that it's kind of, forgive my French, right? But it is kind of, I'll use the word, I can't find another one. It's kind of silly to fret over something you don't have control over. Like, case in point, I'm about to go out, it's raining heavily, I can't even get a ride, I can't drive, and I can't go anywhere. But I really, really need to go out. I have no control over the weather and the traffic at that point in time, but I have control over how I respond to it. So if I stay in my house and cry the whole day, feeling bad about not going out, then something is amiss, because I can't control the weather and I can't control traffic. The economy is really bad. There's inflation in the land. I get it. And then you can't control the economy, you can't control inflation, but because of things you cannot control, you now choose that you must stay where you are. Maybe you should be doing something different. So I've spoken to a couple of friends a few times, and the conversation has been around, what things are rough, what do we do? I said you should earn above inflation. If you earn more money than is required for you to do whatever. It would matter, but it won't kill you if anything, is beaten by inflation. So you need to learn that. In fact, I have a rule of thumb. When something is happening, I'm quickly asking myself, do I have control over this or not? If I have control over it, I should do something about it. If I don't have control over it, then I really should be asking myself, who has control over it? Which reminds me of the Serenity Prayer, a prayer written by someone many years ago that says something like this: God grant me the serenity. Serenity simply means calmness of mind. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Because if my mind is calm enough to accept it, I can begin to move faster and I can begin to do things quicker. Grant me the courage to change the things that I can change. Don't go around screaming that there's a rat in your house and the rat is, or some rodent, and it's eating all of your foodstuff and paper. If you don't shut down the house one day, fumigate, get the rat out, that rat will eat your certificates. Then one day you have not certificates. As I like to joke. Do something about it. And then you need the wisdom to know the difference between what you have control over and what you don't have control over. At work, with family, with your friends, with money, which one do you have control over? Which one don't you have control over? You see, it is only when the mind is calm that we can make the right kind of decisions. And it's important for us to know that you can't go into murky waters that are full of mud and stuff, trying to look for something and you find it easily. You need the mind to settle. Serenity is the calmness of mind. And a lot of things happening to you in life generally, they become a function of how you see things. Do you have control or don't you have control? So I want you to take stock real quick. How are you living now? Don't share with me. Just do it for your own self. I'll give you a guide so that you can take stock. Take stock first by looking at several different areas of your life. Many people talk about life like there are only two areas to you or two aspects to your life. Having a job and making money, for instance. No, there's several. In fact, there are about 8 of them when you consider the life wheel. So I'll talk about the life wheel real quick. And I want you to write something down with each of those areas because everybody's supposed to have all these 8 areas. Write something down like a goal you want to set to improve that particular area of your life. Some people talk to their employers and say things like, oh, we don't have work-life balance. What you're telling your employer to do is that they should make your work or your occupation balance the remaining 7 aspects of your life. It is not possible. So let's start from spiritual. Let's just pick one, spiritual. I'll tell you something simple about it that helps you to understand what it is. I appeal to you to rate yourself when it comes to each of those areas. And then most importantly, write one goal, just one goal down. And this goal I want you to write down is a goal, is something you want to do to improve that aspect of your life. Let's start from spiritual. So spiritual here does not necessarily mean religion. It's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. Religion is a doctrine that you accepted first. Even if you didn't accept it as a kid, you accepted when you grow up, or else you can change your religion. And it guides the way you do things. It also affects your belief system and how you see life. So it's very important. But you see, spiritual is not only religious. Spiritual also speaks to depth to things. Like, is there a purpose to your life? Do you do things only because of what you get back or because there's a reason to do it? Like charity, forgiving people when they do things wrong, things like that. So do you pay attention to your spiritual life? And that doesn't only mean as a Muslim, pray 5 times a day. As a Christian, go to church Wednesdays and Sundays and read the Bible every day. No, there's more to that in the way you live every day. So do you pay attention to it? Is there a goal you want to set in that area? It could be, I won't miss church for the rest of the year. I will pray 5 times a day, no matter what. I would give alms some more. I would pay my tithe. I would something. Set a goal in the spiritual area for yourself. You need all of them to be working, all right, for life to have proper balance. Let me move on quickly. Intellectual speaks to your mental, the mental aspect of your life, how you think, your mind. We've been talking about it all day. So what do you read? What do you watch? And what do you listen to? Do you pay attention to them? Do you try to improve your intellectual capacity every day? Because the more you learn, the more you will earn. The more you know, the more value you can give out. So set yourself some kind of goal in the intellectual area as well. put something down and say, I will read a book every month. I will pay attention to what I watch. I will learn a new skill, something in your mind. Maybe I'll even learn how to speak more eloquently. Okay, physical, your body. And it's tied to three things real quick: sleep, exercise, and diet. Do you pay attention to them? Do you try to sleep well enough? Do you pay attention to your diet, or you eat whatever you find? Does exercise even come into play at all? Set a goal there real quick. Social is you and people. You need people. Even if you have the best product or service in the world, you need people. So do you try to cultivate relationships? Or do you just sit and worry about not having people in your life? Think about it. You need people, and relationships are supposed to be two-way. Nobody should have relationships with people where they only take and not give. So do you pay attention to that aspect of your life, the social part to it? Do you try to grow it? Social doesn't mean clubbing and going out every day. It means deliberately investing in relationships with other people. All right. There's occupational, your work. Do you have a job? Because somebody who has a job should eat. If you don't have a job, are you deliberately trying to get a job? And if you have a job, are you improving yourself on the job, or you only go for training when you are sent to go? If they put you against 20 other people doing the same thing you do, would they pick you as somebody who knows your job better than them? Emotional, your feelings: love, hatred, boredom, greed, sadness, happiness, fear, even the moods that result from your emotions, like depression, which can lead to suicide, and joy. Do you pay attention to them? Can you control them? Do your emotions control you? Do you feel and act based on what you feel only, or do you feel and then you think before you do what you need to do? Rate yourself there. And you can start thinking about attending one of our emotional intelligence sessions soon, or attend any other one you can think of, because it helps to clarify things. So there's the emotional, there's financial. That one is simple. Are you more buoyant than broke? Do you make more decisions based on whether you have money or not, or money is not the real issue? Because it's not about being wealthy, it's financial freedom. All right. So are you more buoyant than broke? We would have a session about that later on, but think about it and rate yourself there. Are you doing well when it comes to money? Then your environment, people around you. Do you curate your environment? Are you particular about what comes up in your environment? Or anything that comes in is fine. This is the life wheel. And the earlier you begin to pay attention to the fact that you have a personal responsibility to make all these 8 dimensions of your well-being work, the faster you start working on them. Now, if you get those right, it will show you some things about life. And if you are clear about that, then living again becomes pretty much easier. You don't have to have all the money in the world to live again. Some people have money and they're very sad, very disillusioned. Some people have just a little and they're doing quite well. So what's the purpose to life for you? What legacy do you want to leave? Can you adapt, or you are someone that's set in his or her ways? Very important things to pay attention to. Life is also about hobbies and interests. You must find something to do, and you need 3 kinds of hobbies: the one that keeps you fit, the one that makes you money, and the one that you enjoy doing just for enjoyment's sake. Do you have all 3? Hobbies that make you money usually make you a whole lot of money because you enjoy what you are doing. You need hobbies that keep you fit, physically and mentally as well. Do you once in a while engage in travel? Even if travel is for the purpose of work, and you can find adventure in the midst of travel. I told you, I like talking, traveling, and meeting people. I knew 3 decades ago. It has helped me today to shape the most enjoyable job in the world. In fact, my career today is probably the thing I would enjoy doing the most. I'm the one asking myself 5, 6 years after, can I do more? Can I live more than just enjoying training and consulting as a career? Health and wellness is key, because if your health fails, everything else will fail. It's not a joke that health is wealth. It's the truth. If your health fails, everything else will fail. So do you pay attention to it? Do you need some kind of financial planning? People think you just need to have enough money. No, you need to learn to plan that money. Between urgent 2K and the vicissitudes of life, your money will finish. Think about it. How come some very rich families in the past, don't have a name in the business world anymore. I won't mention any names. But growing up, did you know rich families whose kids today haven't kept on with the legacy of being wealthy? Financial planning is key. And then lifelong learning. You must be ready to learn throughout life, not get to a point where you say, I know, I think I understand L&D, learning and development, more than some of my peers, not all of them, of course. But even when I go into a session to train, I'm telling myself, well, you don't know everything. That's why I have a pen. So when you speak or you write in the chat section, I can take lessons from it. And you must learn to volunteer once in a while. Let me tell you why this is key. So I have a couple of people who I know have financial challenges. Not that I don't have any of my own too, don't get me wrong. And what I try to put out is this: even if you don't have money, provide service. If you don't have money, volunteer. One day somebody will see you and say, this guy is good at this thing, or this lady is good at this thing. Let's finance what needs to be done. But we won't do that with somebody who doesn't volunteer to do anything. We have to first of all know what's in your hand before we start talking about how to make that thing work. Think for a minute, what keeps you going like this every day of the week? What is on your mind every day of the week? What is the thing that you think about the most, you worry about the most, you are most concerned about? We had done a poll before asking that question. Yes, we have no control over dollars or economy and stuff. What you should do is make a lot of money, and then the rate of the dollar will make any difference. All right? Begin to volunteer. I like that. I saw that in the chat section. So we checked with people both here and outside, and it seems like one major factor is money. One thing that keeps us going, keeps our mind churning, morning to night, day in, day out, is money. Finances generally, all right? So I will talk about that because it has come up a couple of times. Before I go to money, let's start with you. You as a person, what's in your hands? I remember that in the story of Moses, he was asked that question once, and then a simple stick in his hands became a mighty tool for performing miracles. Let's leave the religion out. What's in your hands? What do you have today to offer to the world? You have to know. Money always follows value. I'll tell you that in a minute. Before I tell you that, I need you to understand that you need to know what is in your hands. If you don't know what is in your hands, you can't make use of it. So the first thing that comes to mind are your SWOT, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Your strengths and weaknesses are internal to you. Opportunities and threats, external to you. Strengths are things you like doing, you enjoy doing, and you can almost do for free. So when we hit the 4:30 mark with this, the 5:30 mark, the 1.5 hour mark with this session, I will take a pause and I will tell you to share with us, not just me, what you consider is strength, something you are good at, you enjoy doing, you can almost do for free, but you don't know how to convert it to value, to earn money from. We'll talk about that. What are your weaknesses? You need to know. What things are you not good at, you don't enjoy doing? The earlier you know them, the better for you. Now, your strengths will naturally attract opportunities to you. Opportunities are favorable conditions outside of you, not inside of you, outside of you. Favorable conditions, things that could happen outside you, but will help you become better, earn more money, make more friends, achieve your purpose in life. If we knew your strengths, we would bring opportunities your way. So for instance, you speak French in an office and we don't know. When we are opening a branch in a Francophone country, sorry, a subsidiary in a Francophone country, we can't send you there because you know French. You know why? We didn't know that you know French. Can you blame us? No, you can't. There are also threats, things outside that are not favorable to you. You need to know them. The faster you know them, the better you can use your time to improve who you are and change where you are. And that gets me thinking, can you really use your time? Because that's a lot. You waste time, you use time. Can you do all that with time? No, you can't. Time is not something you can waste or use or manage, as the case may be. No. Time just continues. Whether you do something with time or not, time will continue. You joined this session there about an hour ago, all right? If you didn't join this session 1 hour ago, time will still continue, whether you join the session or not. Time is a continuum. It doesn't wait for you. It just continues to move on. The question you should be asking yourself is, what are you doing while time continues to tick? And everybody has 24 hours, from the richest man in the world to the beggar on your street. Everybody is expected to live there about 70 years, even though that expectancy changes. There are just check that out, 36 million minutes, 2.2 billion seconds in 70 years. Starts with how old you are, so you can tell how much time you've used up already, or how much of the time you have available has passed. Check how much time you have left, and ask yourself, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your time? Remember, time will continue. Whether you do something with it, time will continue. And one major thing we think about when we think of what are we doing now and co is money. Let me tell you why. Some people don't get this in the way I want them to get it. They say money is the root of all evil. It is not true. I'm looking you in the eye and telling you clearly, money is not the root of all evil. That's not true. The love of money, in fact, put it this way, the excessive love of money is the root of all evil. When you can do anything for money, that's the root of all evil. Money answers all things. You need money to live. You need money to live. You need money to do everything you are doing. I know you are looking at the dollars and wondering, this guy should just give me this money. No, he won't give it to you. He's just going to count it. Well, what you can do with me is count with him and then drop in the chat section how many notes, how many bills he counted. So he's going to count the money now. Just count and drop how many did he count. Just so you can get a feel of what dollars feel like. All right? You need money in life. You need money in life for everything that you do. Even clergymen think money. Many of them have businesses they're involved in today, so they can make money. So money is not the root of all evil. You got it wrong. And maybe your attitude towards money is the reason why you are where you are now. But you see, many people have chosen to chase money by going into what we call the rat race. Before we go there, though, note, money always follows value. So if money, like we found out, is what is bothering you the most, the biggest challenge you have, this is the thing you need to be telling yourself every day. Money always follows value. My question to you is this: what value are you giving to the world for money to follow you? I need you to take it as seriously as you can imagine, like your life depends on it. Because your life kind of depends on it. If money is needed for everything you do, what value are you giving to the world to expect money to come back to you? Money always follows value. People who create value for the world, people pay for the value and it comes to them. You can give value to an employer. You can give value to customers directly. You can give value to people around you. That's why I mentioned volunteering helps. If you volunteer and give value to people, at some point, in the minimum, a reward will come from it. People have been given jobs because they said, this guy does this very well. And do you have a job? No, why don't you do this for us in our office? Why don't you do this for me for a fee, for a reward, for commission? Seriously, if money is a big challenge, like we've heard before, you need to begin to ask yourself that question. What value are you giving to the world today? Because if you're not giving the world value, you will not get money pursuing you. Money requires that you give value regularly. Somebody said $1,000, $1,000. Is it 1,000 or 11? Is it $1,100 or $1,000? If you must hold money and use money well, you must learn to count it. So check again. I think it's 11 units that the guy counted. But money always follows value. Let me go back there. And this leads me to ask this question. In the race to get money, are you in the rat race? You see, I lowered the tone of my voice. Just watch. Always chasing the same. Money has come, the car has followed, and then he parked into it. The usual thing that comes with having money is that it brings his own problem. Then he starts seeking happiness in all kinds of places. And then this guy ends up back on the street happiness. Sometimes we get addicted to things. Sharp dose of it. Then life hits us again. And you smell the money and later part again. And there we go, back into the mill, racing after money. Are you that person? You don't need to have a job to be in the rat race, by the way. Some people have work, they do work, but all they do is to, just try to get money in every day. They do nothing else about life apart from let the money come in, let the money come in. Sometimes the money comes in and you can't even spend it. And Jim Rohn said this in the most profound way when it comes to the evaluation you've done. Have you evaluated yourself? Have you checked your life, the life wheel, all of that? If you don't like where you are, you're not a tree, you can move. Now, speaking of money, let's take this money conversation up one notch. Now, you see that garden that the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, were in? There were actually 4 rivers in that garden. And those 4 rivers were serving a purpose. It has led people in life to come up with this theory of sorts, saying that every person actually needs 4 streams of income. This is the reason why. If you have only one stream, it could dry up. I'm sure you know what I mean by that. It could dry up. So if your only stream of income is the work you do and the salary you earn, or the work you do and what you get paid for doing it, if it dries up, you're at risk. So what do? You should have at least 4 streams. I've explained to you already, you need 3 hobbies. The best thing to do is to have 3 hobbies. 1 to keep you fit, 1 to make you enjoy life, and the 3rd one to make you money. Now, even if you have only 1 stream today, can you break it down a little more? We won't do that right now because at the end of today's session, I will ask you to share what you like doing, which for you could have been a hobby. Then how can we turn it into a stream of income? But let's move on. And you ask yourself this question today: what value are you giving to the world, really? And here's the thing. Even if you know the value you are giving to the world because you know your strengths, it can't do anything to you until we know. The rest of the world knows about it. Because it is when you know the strength that you communicate it to the world that attracts opportunities. It is when you know that strength and you communicate it to the world that it attracts opportunities. Many people cannot articulate that strength. You can't tell anybody around you what that strength is. And then you wonder why money doesn't come your way. Money cannot come your way. Well, let me not put it that way. That's not right. Money will not come your way the way you expect it to come. You know the reason why? Because you don't showcase to the world or tell the world what this strength of yours is. The world doesn't know. Opportunities are those things that will get you to get what you want. And this is also key, so I shouldn't miss this. People say things like, opportunities come but once. Has anybody heard that before? Please just raise your electronic hand up if you've ever heard someone say that. Opportunity comes but once. Somebody help me. Your hand up if you've heard that before. I can see hands up. Anne's hand is up. Mazida's hand is up. Interesting. Opportunities come but once. It is not true. It is a myth. One of those myths we have to debunk for people to become the best version of themselves. Opportunities do not come but once. Opportunities are all over the world around us every day. It is preparation that meets opportunity that we can take advantage of. Okay, let's try this simple trick. Let me ask you this question. Today, no, not today. Today you're probably at home because it's a work-free day. Yesterday you went to school or you went to work. How many red cars did you see on the road yesterday? First, don't try, because most likely you can't remember. You were not paying attention to red cars. You know why? There was no reason to do that. But there must have been red cars around you. It's called the red car theory. People don't pay attention to things except their mind is stayed on it. Their mind is considering it. So you can see red cars, but you don't pay attention to any, you don't count them. If I told you, go out tomorrow, and while you are out, tell me how many red cars you see. And for every red car, I'll give you $10. I guarantee you will see every red car. In fact, you may conjure red cars where there were none just to get the dollars. Guess what? You're not focusing on it. Opportunities are all over the place, all around us. Many times, opportunities are listed as problems. We see them as problems, and we run away from them. I'm letting it sink. That's what I was slowing down. Many times, opportunities are listed as problems. And in the world we live in today, There are so many problems. In fact, let me find that and put that for you right now. There are 10 of the biggest problems in the world. They've been documented. We've come to an agreement. These are the 10 biggest problems in the world today. They all have expression in the country you live in. The country you live in. And my question is this: if they say problems are usually opportunities are usually wrapped up in problems, why aren't you solving them today so you can get more opportunities to do or be whatever you want to do or be? Opportunities are everywhere, every day. In one estate, they didn't have power. These are the 10 problems in the world today. All of them exist in your country, whichever country you live in. Somebody lives in an estate, there's never power. Everybody's complaining, this power issue is so bad, and this and that. And this guy just went out, raised money, and bought a generator and an ice block making machine. Same problem we all saw. To him, it became an opportunity. Today, everybody goes to him for ice block or whatever his ice machine makes. You know, once he starts that, he can do other things. Disease, terrorism, poverty, energy. Energy meaning fuel and power. Water, food. These are all problems. Which one are you solving? In fact, let's do a little math. Very simple math. Now, make it quick. So in the city of Lagos, let's assume in the city of Lagos today, there are 20 million people. Just an assumption. Excuse me, there are 20 million people in the city of Lagos in Nigeria today. Assuming, right? And we wanted to do some kind of math. And the math is simply this. How much do you think each person in Lagos eats on the average every day? On the average, every day. Let's assume there are 20 million people. So I'm doing math in the chat section. 20 million people multiplied by how much do they eat every day? Let me come up with a figure so we can move on quickly. Say they eat 500 naira per day. It's average, meaning it's an average, meaning some eat a lot more, some probably don't get that much. 500 naira probably a decent figure. 500 million per day, 500 naira per day. Naira is the currency in Nigeria. So if 20 million people consume 500 naira for food alone per day, how much do they spend every day on food in Lagos? Let's do the math in the way we do with zeros. 2 times 5 is 10. If you take all the zeros in front of me now, that's 4 zeros. So add 4 zeros to 10, it gives you 100,000. But you see, 20 million has 6 zeros on its own. So 100,000 plus 3 zeros is 100 million, plus another 3 zeros is 100 billion. So in one day, people in the city on food, on the average, 100 billion naira. Let's not do it for a year because you probably will not like the sound of it. Or maybe we should. 100 billion naira in one day times 365 days in a year takes you to what? Now, my question is this. This is just about food. I've not added data, power, everything else we could do with money in the city, like the city of Lagos. And I'm not assuming that we all live in Lagos. Just took an example. If we spend 100 billion naira of food in Lagos, how much of that money gets into your hands? You listening to me today. From growing the food, to packaging it, to selling it, to retailing it, to collecting the money from it, to washing the dishes, to whatever concerns food. Even the things that come with food, like the water that goes with food, like whatever it is. How much of that money is coming to your hands today? If you provide value in that space, the money from that value will come to you. You have to be giving value to the world for money to come your way. Are you doing this? Worrying about tomorrow, essentially just thinking, what can I do next? Things are so hard. Because what happens to most people is this, they get to this point, and I'm not saying it is out of place to be like this once in a while, but they get to this point where they get stuck. That's why you're not living again. You get stuck like this, and then you don't know what next to do. And because of that, things start going down slope. Now, what happens every time you get stuck is this, and it's a simple way to look at life. When you get stuck and you stay in one place, life continues without you, whether you move or you don't move. So you're actually going backwards by doing absolutely nothing. And when you hold on to a feeling like disappointment or sadness, it grows and becomes worse. So feelings can grow into moods like depression, and the moods can grow into things like thinking of suicide. Some people don't do this. Some people are in a frenzy, trying to do everything at the same time to make the same money that somebody else is lazy about or not doing much about. Let me take the word lazy out. And these people will produce a lot, but they probably won't be able to track all the money that should come their way. They will do things at 60, 70% of possible attainment levels, and they won't get called back. These are things we also need to pay attention to. It is not one or the other you need. You need to also have a good head on your shoulders. You need to pay attention to the money coming your way. Otherwise, you will not make the best of it. You see, the guy on the right will die young. The guy on the left may also die young. So what do we do? I think everybody should make agreements with themselves. So I'll play this video real quick, and you should listen to it. You really should listen to this guy.
There's a book called The Four Agreements written by Don Miguel Ruiz. 4 things that we all need to agree on. He says the first agreement you need to make with yourself if you're going to have power is to be impeccable with your words. You're never going to have power if you keep speaking that negatively. Number 2, stop taking things personally. Don't take it personal from somebody who don't know you personally. Number 3, stop making assumptions. Most of you all are depressed over what you think they think. And number 4, always do your best. I need every one of you to make an agreement with yourself that no matter what the rest of this year, you're going to do your best at everything you do. We are in agreements with everything except ourselves. You got a mortgage, you're in agreement with the bank. You got a car note, you are in agreement with the broker. And yet you have made no contract with you.
Have you made a contract with you? Just thinking, have you made a contract with you? Many people don't make contracts with themselves, like he said, and that is the truth. It leads me to ask this other question, because you must ask these 3 questions of yourself. I tell you something little about money, then I will pause and have you tell me what it is you want us to talk about. That is a strength you want to turn to money. So listen to him as well.
3 questions. 1, who are you? 2, who do you want to be? And 3, what are you doing about it?
The last question is most important to me. What are you doing about this place you want to get to, this person you want to be? Or are you just sitting and complaining and lamenting about it, or worrying for that matter? And don't get me wrong, not everybody who's not moving forward. It doesn't mean that once you're not moving forward, you're not doing anything. You may be doing something, but maybe you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing. All right, so know what your strengths are, channel them in the right direction, build a network. Ask yourself these questions. How do you see yourself? Some people see themselves as people who can only take and cannot give, who don't have value to give to anybody else, and that's what worries them. Some people believe they can't do certain things. They, oh, this is not me, I can't do this, I can't achieve this. Some people think so many different things about themselves, and because of what they think, they don't move. The world is not going to wait for you. I'm sure you know this Nigerian song by Lade. It starts like this. I wanted to play it earlier, but I'll leave that out. Adulthood na scam, you better get them for your mind. You got to hustle, make a living 2-4-7. Nobody go ask if you don't chop. Nobody go send you free money. If you no get now, you sabi. Adulthood na scam. My voice is not good when it comes to singing, but I know the song, and it always drives me to think. How do you see yourself? How do people see you? Because every time you call somebody's phone, an adjective appears. They think of something. Oh, great guy. Oh, this guy that has value to give. Oh, this guy that's always doing this or always doing that. It may not make you feel right today, but it's the truth. And you determine how people see you. So how do people see you today? When your circle thinks of you, what do they think? When you dial someone's number, do they smile or frown? Do you add value in the spaces you are in today? Or you just take? See, you can't be in a space and simply take and expect that people will pay you more time, more value, or pay you more attention. No. I've been in spaces where I was the least person when it came to level in life, financial position, all of that. What I learned to do was to give. And sometimes many people think that giving is only about giving money. That is not true. You can give of yourself. You can give service. You can give the thing you know how to do very well. And the more you give that, the more their perception of you changes. You need to note that. What's important to you, you need to know what's important to you. and pay attention to it on a regular basis, which takes me to the issue of money as I run to a close so I can then give you time. I promised to be done, and that takes me to 4 minutes to wrap up the session. I want you to begin to tell me what things you can do that you can do today, but you can't convert to money. But let me tell you something about money you need to know. You need to understand the MMM of money. First, you must learn to make the money, give value. And then if the money comes into your hand, you must learn to manage the money. Many people are still thinking about it. If you don't manage the money, it will finish. It will simply finish. It's as simple as that. And then you must learn to multiply the money, make more money out of the money you have today. If you don't learn all three, you cannot have full value for the money that comes into your hands. And it means you must learn what you would control, alter, and delete. What you have control over, do something about it. What you have influence over, alter it. What you don't have control over, you have no influence over. Don't delete, but delete the worry that comes from it. And begin to ask yourself, how can I thrive in spite of this? There's traffic. I can't do anything about it. Can I read a book if I'm not driving? Can I listen to an ebook? Can I put an ebook or an audiobook in the car stereo so I can listen to it? Can I plan my day? Can I prepare my speech? Can I do some work? If there's traffic, you can't do anything about it. You will sit in traffic. The economy is bad. Make more money than inflation. And the economy being bad will bite you, but won't kill you. You must learn the MMM of money. And this is where I will call to a close real quick. You must learn that every time you need money, there are three things you can do. So when I get into a fix, when I need money, because everybody does need money, don't get me wrong. So when I get into a fix and I need money, there are three things I want to do first. Those are the three things that come to my mind first. The first thing I want to do is I think to myself, what can I sell? To make money, you can sell something. You can sell something of your own to someone else. Or you can help someone sell what they have to sell. But you must first learn. The first thing that comes to mind. Let me speak about me. What comes to my mind first when I need money for something is what can I sell? The second thing that comes to my mind is who can I serve? To serve somebody doesn't mean to carry food to their house or say, yes, sir. No, it's essentially to put yourself out there to help people sort things out. Like I can run an errand for you and I get a reward for it afterwards. And then number three is what problems can you solve? People I know who have the tendency and the penchant to solve problems and have money problems, I think there's a disconnect. You can't have a skill like that and have a money disconnect and have a money challenge so often. Sell something, serve someone, solve problems. And you can begin to live again once you do that. If you don't do that, then the spirit of money will keep taking every penny you out of your way, and you won't be able to achieve much in life. Remember, this is very key as I come to the point where I shut down and just listen to you tell me what things you want to learn, how to turn them into value in your hands. Life is actually 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. So don't blame life, 100%. So 3 guys in the same office, they get fired. They are asked to go home on the same day. Mr. A gets another job. Mr. B, starts a business. Mr. C commits suicide. What was the difference? 90%. Not I lost my job, which is the 10%. And this is my own personal prayer. I think you should listen to it, but go and adopt your own as it will work for you. My mindset is that you must work to earn. I don't even think very much about getting money through other means apart from work. Of course, you can be given a gift, you could win a lottery. It's not a major consideration for me. It is work and earn, or use the money to work and earn. So here's my prayer, and I keep it in my mind on a regular basis. Lord, bless me with work, because from work I will earn. And then bless me with the strength and wisdom to do the work. First, I need strength, or else I can't get out to do anything, including this session. Then I need wisdom to do it in the best way. But I want to do it professionally all the time and diligently. Not as if I'm doing the work for mankind, but as if I'm doing it unto you. So that when I do it properly, professionally, diligently, I will be paid full value for it. I will glorify you in whatever ways I can, including I tithe. So I'll pay tithes. I will glorify God in the way I can with the money He's blessed me with, and then be a blessing to my world. Amen. That's my prayer. What's yours? If you don't have one, craft one now. It's like people telling you to have positive affirmation. So I'm done with my own session, that is. People tell you to have positive affirmations on a regular basis, to constantly tell yourself what you want. Your brain, your mind, sorry, does not recognize no, don't, not. It doesn't. You must say what you want. Look at my prayer. There's no, except for not unto man. There's work unto you. Everything else is what I want. So going forward, condition your mind to say and think what you want. I want to be financially free. I want to get the best job possible. I want to do this. Not, I don't want to be broke. Your mind will see, I want to be broke. Try it. Shut your eyes for a minute or two and do what I say. Don't think of an elephant. Most likely, the first image that will come to your mind is the image of an elephant. So I ask you again, what are you telling you every day? What is the thing you tell yourself every day? What prayer are you making? Don't get me wrong. This is not the religious prayer I pray every day. This is just something I continue to keep in mind on a regular basis, all right? So I've come to a close. I want to play this video for you, but while I'm playing this video, while I'm playing the video is this, or while I'm playing the video, I want you to do this. Go to the chat section and drop in the chat section something that you think is a strength of yours, but doesn't earn you money today. I want to see 5 to 10 of those things. So the session itself is done. If you want to leave now, you can leave. I've hit our cutoff time. But if you want to get more, like you want to listen to someone else, listen to this video. But while you are doing that, drop in the chat section. I have this as a gift, a talent, a skill, a strength, but it's not working for me today. Put it in the chat section. I'll pick the first 10 and we'll see how you can turn that into money. I'll pick the first 10 and you see how you can turn that into money. But watch this video while I wait for you to drop those in the chat section.
Wealthy people don't necessarily look for money. They create solutions, and money will follow them. Larry Page and Sergey Brin went all out to help humanity find things faster on the internet, and billions of dollars followed them. Mark Zuckerberg created platforms for socialization, and over $71 billion followed him. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak went all out to reduce the size of computer, and billions of dollars followed them. You! What problems are you solving for humanity? Some people spend weeks on the mountain praying for financial breakthrough without knowing what to do to be rich. They just want to be rich anyhow. It doesn't work that way. Real wealth comes through solving problems. Real wealth comes when we take a critical look around us, see the challenges that surround us, and proffer solutions to them. One of the major reasons why millions of Africans live below the poverty line is our belief that magic wands will suddenly mint money for us. How many cups of mustard seeds did Mark Zuckerberg eat that made him an instant billionaire? How many bottles of anointing oil did Jeff Bezos drink that turned him into an overnight owner of Amazon? If all can listen to the voice of God and do the right thing for humanity, God will be happier with us. This is how potential billionaires pray. Dear Lord, Nigeria has an electricity problem. Our roads are death traps. Healthcare system is in shambles. Our youths are sold for slavery because there's no job for them. 25 million Nigerians are disabled. Lord, please baptize me with fresh ideas on how to solve some of these problems and connect me to the right partners to make it happen. Thank you, Lord. God will definitely download creative ideas into their minds. Dear friends, it's time to change our thinking and prayer pattern. Stop looking for shortcuts to the top. Let's start looking for the problems we can solve for humanity. Money is actually a reward for solving problems for people. Keep soaring.
Interesting, if you ask me. And I think it's something we must pay attention
Wealthy people
to a whole lot more. If you want to make more money, this is the way to look at the world. Solve problems, money will come your way. And everybody he mentioned expresses it. There's a video by a very popular pastor that says something about if it is the number of amens that got us rich, we will be the richest people in the world. Now, I see you drop stuff in the chat section, but just before I pick on them one by one, I must share that we also have proper paid trainings that will go on for the rest of the month of May. So I'll keep this up while I pick on those things you've mentioned in chat section and just talk about it. I'll just talk about it. That's what I said. But it may add value to somebody in this space at the moment. What else do we do at Purple? Apart from the 4 things you heard at the beginning, we provide, first of all, we provide training services. So we train agencies of government, individual agencies, individual companies, even individuals sometimes. And we do some counseling services as well, apart from just doing training. We do consulting. Consulting is a simple way of saying solving business problems. So whatever problems the business has, or my people don't produce value, or we're not selling as much, we don't make enough profit, we are available to help solve that. We do business development. I have a business, I want to expand it, I want to grow into a different space. And we also do recruitment. You want to hire people who can help you hire people. So you can talk to us. You can see an email address at the base here, training@purpleplethora.com.ng. Also, there's consulting@purpleplethora.com.ng, or just reach out to me. And let me tell you the first way you can begin to make money with us. Bring me a client and get finder's fee. Now, I'm serious here. Okay, let me put on my video so you know I'm really serious. You are thinking today how to make money from where you are. You don't have to do it yourself. You have to remember that you can collaborate with people. We even have something called co-opetition. Let me type that in the chat section. It's a word in the world of business today, co-opetition. So instead of cooperation or competition, we are co-opetiting. 2 people in the same space can collaborate instead of compete to get something done, and we all get paid. So here's an open-ended offer to everybody in this room. You have to chat me up on WhatsApp later to get details. If you know someone who can use our services or who can help me provide services to them, talk to me, and as soon as we land the deal, you get a finder's fee. It's not bribery. It's not motivation upfront. No, it's thank you for bringing business to us. It's open to anybody in this room who can hear me. So send us a mail, reach out to any of us in the phone numbers you find there. Once we close it out, you get paid for it. So if money is the issue, like most people have said in the past, I've already showed you something you can do in your space, all right, that can make that come in. So let's go to the chat section quickly. This is quite a lot. This is quite a lot, I must confess. So we will take them one by one. I will speak to them. You can also join our Telegram group. I'll show you that later. You can see our contacts here, phone numbers, email addresses. But let's keep this up. If you find any of these courses too that may add value to you or your workplace, let's talk about it. There are group discounts if you want to join personally. All right, key account management, workplace productivity, there are things you need to learn about. But let's do that. Let me close my eyes, technically put off my video so I don't distract you from focusing on this, but then listening to what I'm reading in the chat section. And that's what I will do for the next 20 minutes, because there are quite a lot of them, that is, next 20 minutes. If you find something that suits you, please take it. It's not meant for anybody in particular. So let me go to the beginning. It's quite a lot. What do I have as a strength that can make me money? So I can see reading and writing here. If you read, there are many things you can do to earn. No, let me put it this way. It's not just about money. Add value to people and then earn from it. And I'm going to freelance as much as possible. But if you want to drill down later, like, let's find a real way of getting this done, then also talk to me, because we do consulting. So do I read or do I write? First, you can read to people and get paid for it or add value for it. It could be something you could do to volunteer or because you want to make money from it. There are people who want to be read to but cannot read. They could be older people in homes, people who are incapacitated, and you can read to them. There are people who read the news, for instance, but let's not go into broadcasting so you don't wonder, how can I get into that space? It's too late and stuff like that. How do you make money from reading? You can read to people, you can read for people. You can do both. Writing is the easier one. So I'm going to talk about reading first. Writing is much, much easier. You can make money from reading by starting an online book club or getting people who like to read to join you, or encouraging people to read as well. All right. You could be reading to people I mentioned that in your home already. That's something you can do. What else can you do? Think a little more. Let's move to writing quickly. You can start a book blog. You can run a book club. I mentioned that already. You can proofread for people who write. So people who write usually don't see their own mistakes when they write, and they need a proofreader to read it again, correct errors, change context, and they'll tell you what they want. You can proofread for actual writers, even for a fee. All right. You can get paid to narrate audiobooks. So you like to read. When somebody writes a book and creates an audiobook, they have to have someone read it. Many writers don't have the right kind of voice modulation or voice training, or generally don't like the idea of reading their own books. It doesn't have to be because you have the right voice training, but you read. Once you pronounce the words properly, senorage, ambience, and you can put it in a sentence that is clear to everyone, then you are a candidate to proofread books for people. Writing is the easier one. Write books of your own or help people write. You don't think you have enough content to write by yourself? Help other people write. You can be a ghostwriter. Write for someone else and they won't mention you at all in the book. They give you no credits at all. They just pay you for it. Or you can be a writer who becomes a co-author of a book. Or you can write for someone. You're not the author, but you're the one who wrote, and then they would recognize you. It's like someone who writes music for artists. Sometimes the writer of the music is not the one who sang the song. I hope I made sense. If I did, the person who wrote that, please put a thumb up in the chat section. I read, I like that I read to unwind. Maybe some people like to be read to, and we can create something new somewhere there. Move on. Driving, you either drive people, which is the more difficult one to do because you can only make money from the person you drive, or you talk about driving, all right? Or you talk about cars. It's something to do. You can create a car business, but I mean, that's something else entirely. You can train drivers. Drivers only get, let me use Nigeria, the road safety type training, and then they begin to work once they have a license. Who says people who drive, especially when they drive a pool of cars, don't need to learn emotional intelligence or learn street signs, not learn zebra crossing and red and green and amber alone? How many people know that at an intersection, if there are many yellow lines, there's a meaning to it? All right. So you can begin to speak about driving. You can, problem solving is too wide to speak about. Just find someone with a problem, solve it, get paid. It could be as simple as you can create Google Forms for some people. And when you do that, they pay you for it. It could be as simple as just solve problems. I enjoy problem solving. In fact, maybe you and I should talk a little more, Ponsa. Somebody should have a problem, throw it in a pool, we should solve it, and they should pay us for it. Creative writing, similar to the writing I mentioned earlier. Training teachers, please, that is something we can earn from as well. You can join an existing organization that is in the business of training teachers. So I know who I'm talking to, so I know what I'm talking about as well. But you can also create something in that space. Many teachers don't get any training, especially in public schools, once they begin to teach. They don't get any training at all. Now, if teachers want to do well at what they do, then you could be training them by just going to partner with schools. We can train your teachers in pedagogy, classroom management, emotional intelligence, people management, handling kids, communicating effectively. Some teachers teach but can't communicate effectively. And effective communication is saying something so I understand it clearly. Business management and financial product development. You can get a job if you do that. You can provide that service to small businesses. Many small businesses don't know how to manage their money. They can't even keep records of their money. I watched a Nollywood movie some time ago where a guy started to do a job, go into the market to help people create balance sheets and P&L from the things they sell every day. And then they could tell for sure whether they're making profit or not. So that's something that I think people see those kind of things, financial product management, development, and business management, as highfalutin is only for structured businesses. Every business should have that. Reading, I've spoken about. Counseling, fantastic. I'm training to be a career counselor myself. People need guidance. I like to call counseling guidance, even though it's called guidance and counseling. Really, counseling is guidance. People need guidance. In Nigeria, you start going to the school your parents pick for you. And I'll pick Nigerian examples because most of us here are Nigerians or we live here. You start going to school that the parents picked for you, and then you end up in the secondary school they pick for you as well. And then you finish with JS1 to JS3, your scores largely, not always, and not with all private schools, but for many people who are in the workplace already, this is what you went to. Your scores determine if you're in science class, commercial class, or arts class. When you finish with secondary school, you pick up the first admission you get, most times not the course you want to study. And you make the best of it till you get out. And you get the first job that they offer you because you need a job immediately. So you see, many people don't do what they have in mind to do or what they plan to do. I went on a tangent from, I like to talk, travel, and meet people in Kano. I ended up in university studying geography for my BSc. I ended up in banking. I wanted to work in banking, but not to talk, travel. I ended up in banking essentially. I did 2 master's degrees, degree in managerial psychology and a second one in entrepreneurship and innovation. I left banking. I was chief operating officer in a restaurant, chief operating fully. See how much of a spiral I went through to end up here. And I'm not even sure of which way I'm going to yet. Nigerians need counseling. That's the bottom line. So you can earn from counseling by creating your own counseling, and please learn a lot so you can give the right kind of advice. But learn coaching is part of counseling. Give the right kind of counsel and get paid for it. Don't focus on marital counseling. That's the problem of the world. There are many other things people deal with. What if people don't get married? They don't need marital counseling. All right. So there are many things apart from marital counseling. It's important, but it's not the only thing to do. There's counseling for people in their job roles. There's career counseling. That's the one I'm interested in. You can also start by partnering with schools already. Many schools in Nigeria today do not have a guidance and counseling department or units. So, and you don't have to go and become a staff of the school to do this. Resume in the school once a week, like a specialist doctor comes to a hospital once a week, and everybody who has that problem comes to see him on that day. Go on a Thursday, for instance, and spend 3 hours in school talking to kids, pile up their issues, go away, come back next Thursday, but get paid for it. You can be counseling parents. Some parents have challenges with kids. Some have challenges with making money. So many things you can do with counseling. So think about cooking. Please start a restaurant so I can come and eat there. But seriously, if you like cooking, then you can teach us healthy cooking. You can start a restaurant. If you can't afford a restaurant from the start, can you start cooking from your home and selling to your network in bowls? Can you start cooking for small gatherings? A gathering of people where they are doing a traditional wedding, for instance, only 50 people. Can you cook meals that are not in regular restaurants? And that could be something you could be doing. Start small. I like starting small, by the way. Start small and begin to grow it. Help people solve their challenges. Create a structure around it where they come in to discuss their challenges with you. You can get commitment from them that they will do what you want them to do first, and then begin to solve for them. But I think the major challenge you would have is collecting money. So if you want to start helping people solve problems, when you show them you can solve it, get a commitment fee of some sort. Let them pay a small amount of money to get you going. Or else you could solve the problem and not get paid anything at all. And create some kind of document they can sign, like an agreement. Website backroom manager, please find small companies who have websites and need somebody to manage the website from the back. You can talk to my team members. I'm sure we have 1 or 2 people like that. Talking, I'm talking. So if you like talking, the first thing you should do is to go and gather meaningful things to talk about. Because talk is cheap on its own. It is valuable talk from experience, talk that solves problems, that helps people. Some people need people to talk to them to stop thinking suicidal, or to stop planning to travel abroad when there's something. You know, talk is important in today's world, but everybody is talking because there's so much social media going on. I think the starting point with talking is go and learn what you want to talk about and then become somebody who speaks. People speak for 10 minutes and get paid 2 million naira. So talking, there's money in there. Training, let's talk. Training, the person who said training, chat me up. I'll drop a number you can chat me up on. Service providing, any service, you know what to do already. Gadget freak, we all have problems with gadgets, right? So people think the only problem we have with gadgets is to repair them. No, some people have problems with even deciding which gadget to buy. So when they advertise gadgets, they put jargons there. Something megawatts, so megabytes or gigabytes. Regular people don't know what it means. So I'm sorry, you're not helping me to pick the right gadget just by typing technical jargons in there. So maybe we need somebody who once in a while we can reach out to. And I can tell, I used to do this. Talk to a friend of mine who knows gadgets and say, I want to buy a phone. What I want in the phone is a great camera, space for plenty of numbers, and the ability to do ABCD. They give me a range of phones, not a wide range, like 3. I pick one, I run with it, I'm fine. I didn't ask for a fee for it because they were my friends. But if somebody was doing it professionally, maybe it is time we began to pay you for it. And you can start with a group of friends. Guess what? I have a story of someone else as well who just likes gadgets. So this guy worked in banking. Some people here probably know him. And whenever somebody wanted to buy a phone or a laptop, they went to ask him for advice. He would help them get it. He would provide them with information about which one to buy. One day he asked one person, I told one person, this is the phone you need. The person says, I can't afford that now. He says, okay, what if I help you get it and you can spread payment for 3 months? And the person agreed. So he put a small premium on it. Maybe it was a 50K phone and he sold it for 54K. But spread the 54K for 3 months, use his own money to buy. And he starts doing that. He left the bank and was doing that as a business. From phones to laptops. I bought from him too. That's something to consider. And with those kind of deals, you don't necessarily have to have plenty of money to start. All right? You could get a deal from the seller and also a deal from the buyer. Give me the laptop, I'll pay you in 3 months. Give me 1 month's money, you pay back in the rest 3 months, and then work it out. But we can talk a little more about that privately. Talking, same thing like I mentioned before. Counseling, I've mentioned. Influence. This is key. What does the word influence mean? And I think it's important to know what these things mean. We have 7 more minutes before we completely wrap this up. That's important to note. 7 more minutes. The plan was to wrap up in an hour and a half and spend 30 minutes doing this. To influence is, what does it mean to influence somebody? Influence means something. It means the capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone. So if you would be able to influence people, you need to first be clear about what area of influence, what area of knowledge you have. Then we should begin to attract the right kind of people to you. So how do social media influencers turn what they do into money? They first get a large following, then everybody else thinks, if I talk to push adverts their way, get them to speak about stuff. Watch Aproko Doctor. The guy advertises everything now, not just health-related stuff, phones, stuff, because he had become a social media influencer. He started from, I have something to say, and it is something important. Then we began to listen to him and went that route. Identify solutions, I've mentioned that before. Anybody that solves problems should not be financially poor. The thing you may have to find is somebody who has the problem that you know how to solve, and then create a formal way to get it solved. I love cleaning and talking. Maybe you should start a cleaning business and talk about it. Maybe you should start advertising for people who produce cleaning agents and talk about it. And that would be great. Makeup, hairdressing, making people happy. I think that's pretty straightforward. Help people make up. And what most people do is this. They want to first convince you that they know what they are doing before they now tell you to come to them so they can help you do it. All right? Making people happy. Well, the question is how, because that is a very broad, it's a very wide range to consider to make people happy. Some people's happiness is found in very weird stuff. So narrow it down a bit, create a service out of it, and you'll be great. I love design and giving advice. Many people don't know how to design what they want, from furniture to the houses they live in to the flyer they want to push out. So you could partner, go into and any of us that have said something before, volunteering is a great way to start. People need to know you are good at what you are doing before they pay you for it. And let me talk about volunteering for a minute. Sorry, I didn't say that before. Somebody asked me one day that there's a problem with recruitment. Everybody wants an experienced person before they hire you. They say you must have experience of 5 years, 10 years. How do you get experience if you don't hire me first? So I told the person this: volunteer to work. Even when you have no job, find the work that takes the least money from you. Like next door to your house is the office, so you don't have to pay transport money to go, but volunteer to work. Now, if you did volunteer work for 6 months, you can put it in your CV and said, I worked at ExxonMobil, Total, and blah. You don't have to write in your CV, I worked there as a volunteer, or I wasn't being paid for it, or I was an intern. Just state that you worked there. Do you have experience in the work you did? Yes. Did you lie? No. And when I want somebody who has experience in something, you will come to mind because it will show on your CV. So if they're not taking you up because you don't have experience, then gain the experience. And sometimes you don't have to pay for it. It could be a sacrifice you make. Same applies to anything anybody is saying here. You want to do something, go and learn the thing, and you can volunteer to do it. When you volunteer to do it, you get experience in it, and you can become better. By the way, this link here, Banji, please copy it and paste it in the chat section. If you want to join the Telegram group, sorry, it's not 2023, we started in 2023, by the way. You want to be doing things where you can help to achieve your goals and all, join the Telegram group. I create skincare products as a hobby, would love to commercialize it. Would also love to work with undergraduates on developing skills they need in the workplace. I can do this for free. This sounds nice. And I think somebody in this room should be thinking of somebody they can talk to partner to do something. All right. So we create skincare products. I think the first thing people shouldn't do with popular things like that is to come and become a general person when it comes to skincare products. People generally like to go and meet one lady who mixes creams for them rather than somebody who has something that is placed on a shelf. So maybe a niche is something you should be looking at. People who have acne and they can't get it off quickly. People who have black patches on their face. People who just want tone. They don't want to bleach. Maybe you should think about that. If you can do it for free and work with undergraduates, create a project. In fact, you know what? I'm adding you to the list. Chat me up privately. We can create something that helps undergraduates understand how it works in that space. And what you do when you create value for others is this. They can start doing it, but bringing value to you. They'll take menial jobs. They'll give you the big ones and all of that. People always come to me for money, and I always look for ways how to solve the issue by looking for someone to lend them the money. So you're thinking of what to do. Why don't you start? Oh, okay. I also like gathering people together to do contribution, and I will collect a little percentage before giving you the money. Great. I also do contributions, though I don't get paid for the contribution. But I think you already started to do something. You need to pay attention. If I haven't, okay, I like that one. You need to pay attention to the fact that there are risks in lending and begin to mitigate those risks. But if they always come to you for money, see, sometimes you don't know your strengths until people start calling you to ask you for something. So ask yourself in this room today, what do people call me to ask for regularly? That is an indication of what your strength is. All right. And that could be somewhere to go. I have 1 more minute, but I think I've covered what we have. With the lending person, you don't need to, you may grow into a lending institution, but for now, if they come to you, you can do arbitrage. Connect the person who has the money to the person who needs the money and take a small fee for it, like you mentioned earlier. So keep that in mind. Thank you very much. I think we've done enough for one day. The intention was to begin to open your mind to see things from a different perspective. Things are difficult, trust me. But please, if you didn't take anything else away from here, take a few things out of this place. One of them will be this: money always follows value. And sometimes you get value in selling something, solving problems, or serving people. And with serving people, you can simply volunteer. Why sit at home all day worrying about having no money when you can call up a friend who's doing something and say, can I help you do this for free? Can I join you in your office to do this for free? Can I help you sell the houses you're selling for free? If I sell, give me a commission. Because it is only when we know what you can do that we can begin to bring things your way to help you do it. All right? It all starts with the way we see things, our mindset, and all of that. So please pay attention to that, and that will help. Finally, I'll tell you the story of this painting in me. So if you're still here, please put on your video. By the way, before you leave, if you didn't register fully, you can go to the chat section, drop your name, phone number, and email address. We can reach out to you regularly. If you do that, right, then Banji is here. Okay, so Banji is here. Banji will capture all of that. You can also begin to pay attention to, so Banji, we can please stop the live streaming now so that we don't also